you ever wondered if you're autistic? In this video, I'm going to break down ways in which you can kind of identify that and see if you can move forward in a diagnosis. All that's coming up. Hey guys, welcome back to the Aspie world. My name is Dan. I have autism, ADHD, OCD, and dyslexia, and I make weekly videos all about this stuff. So if you're new around here and you want to learn more, remember to hit the subscribe button by clicking the notification bell down below. Oh, and if you're watching on the other platforms like Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, be sure to follow this page for more videos. Okay, so I would advise this. I had a diagnosis of autism when I was 26 years old. So I went 26 years without an autism diagnosis, but I had prominent traits of autism the whole way through. It wasn't like I just randomly came across a diagnosis and was like, oh yeah, well, this is what I'm going to do now. No. It was kind of like the behaviors that I had were very prominent. I had like a lot of traits. So the first thing I would say to do is to ask your friends and family members if there are traits of autism that they can identify within you. So autistic traits could be like lack of eye contact, sensory processing disorder, deviating from a routine, wanting very strict and rigid rules and routines in your life, all that kind of stuff. Because autistic individuals will highlight specific traits within themselves when they are autistic, right? And this is kind of something that is going to be apparent. This is what sets you apart from the other people, because you will act in a way which is different to a typical person, right? And this is notable. And a lot of people will notice this and be like, huh, this is very interesting. It's odd or different, right? And these are traits of autism. What I would say to do is collect these and write them all down and see if there are many or just a couple. Because if there's a couple, and it could just be like, okay, well, maybe it's not autism, right? But if there's many, then it's kind of like, okay, well, there's something going on here. What could it be? But the second thing I would do is do the same thing. I would ask people if I have autistic behaviors, not just the traits, but behaviors, because the traits, the symptomatic traits of autism will urge you to do behaviors. You could have OCD. You could have aversion to certain things. You could have a very secluded, very conservative outlook on life. Maybe you'll want to stay indoors. Maybe you'll become reclusive. Maybe you don't want to go outside. Maybe you'll only play video games. Maybe you don't want to hang out with friends. These types of behaviors could be linked to autism, but you want to see if people are identifying unusual behaviors within you as a person. Are you currently experiencing different behaviors? Do you display different behaviors to other people online, offline, in society? And those things will show like a torch if you're on the autism spectrum, but you should try and list them all out to see if there's something that you are susceptible to or something that you are kind of like accustomed to, that if these behaviors are a byproduct of the traits of autism that you are experiencing. Now, here is a word from today's sponsor. Hey, just a heads up, guys, if there are any of you out there who are autistic and you're finding it hard or struggling to cope with situations right now, I actually have a program really affordable called Coping Secrets, or Autism Coping Secrets. Now, you can get access to this by visiting the link in the description down below and looking for Coping Secrets course, or you can go to learnautism.net/coping secrets right now and get access to that course. It's highly recommended. It's my bestseller. Most people that come through my programs will take this one first, and they swear by it. It's a 7-step program. It's really good. Check it out. Okay, the next thing I would tell you to do, and this is a must. You must do an autism online quotient test, which is an AQ test, autism quotient, kind of like an IQ test, but for autism, so it's AQ test. Now, you can go to my website, www.theaspieworld.com/autism test. And if you go to that website link, you will be able to take a test that will ask you a series of 50 questions, and it will score you. Now, it will give you a percentage saying, like, if you score this many questions this way, then there's more likelihood you're on the autism spectrum. But if you score this many below, then it's probably unlikely that you're on the autism spectrum. But what it does do is it gives you a really good, honest, clinical based framework for you could print out those results and take them to your doctor, which brings me on to the last point, where I would print those out together with the evidence of the behaviors and the autism traits that you've collected from your family members and friends. And I would take all of those and I would book an autism assessment through a clinic or a referral from your doctor. Now, when doing this, take all the evidence with you and present them more evidence than they possibly would kind of think about, because they're going to assess you there. They're going to give you an interview and all the assessment process pieces that go through with the DSM, the IDC, and the ADA, and the DISCO, and all those other, diagnostic criteria things. However, if you also present to them some kind of like friends and family data, which we've already kind of spoke about, and the online test that you did, is going to help them with the formation of a clearer picture of the whole board, the bigger viewpoint of everything that makes you you and everything that makes you potentially autistic, if there's something that you are looking for. I'm going to leave a link down below to all of the things that I mentioned here today, specifically the test for the autism test on my website. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.